Welcome to Heavy Chef. Today we'll be chatting to an amazing entrepreneur, groundbreaker, Lethu Tshabangu, the founder of Ukhamba Beerworx. Lethu, welcome to Heavy Chef. But before we talk about Ukhamba Beerworx and what you do, can you tell us more about who is Lethu and your background, where you come from?
I'm just an ordinary guy. I grew up in a mixed family in Bulawayo Zim. It was quite a good. I think I had a very good childhood. Small family, not small family. We had like 12 children in a small house.
Yeah.
3-room house, 12 children.
Back in Zim.
Yeah, back in Zim. My siblings were 5 of us, and then cousins, and then there was my mom and my dad. But we were. I can say we were happy. We were happy. Yeah, we were happy. We were quite a happy family. Yeah. And I think I was quite privileged to have grown up with all of them, because I kind of lived with almost all types of characters that you can find. Anyway, so it has made it easier for me to get along with people along the way. So
from Zimbabwe did you come straight to Cape Town, or you started somewhere? What was your journey?
No, I went to Joburg like some years ago when I was young, basically. Yeah. I think I lived all my adult life, besides the part in Cape Town. I lived in Joburg, so I can say most of my basically opening my eyes to the world, I was in Joburg. So I always like to think that I grew up in Joburg, basically. I was very much a Josie boy. Okay. And that's when I learned to be myself, to live alone, start hustling my way and stuff like that, basically starting my own life, basically. Yeah.
So how did you end up from Zim to Joburg to Cape Town, from Cape Town to Ukhamba Beerworx, starting this beer brand, and why did you choose that industry? Because it seems like a competitive industry.
My whole family worked in hospitality. My father used to be a chef. Like, my mom is from a very tourist town called Victoria Falls in Zim. So her family lives there. Almost all of them, they work in hospitality. My brother worked in hospitality. It was a coincidence that I got to Joburg and I worked in hospitality as well. And for some reason, I think drinks chose me, I remembered one time I was looking for a job, and then this other guy was like, these other guys, they do what they call mobile bartending. Okay. You can go there, you can work maybe as a barback, which is basically the guy who cuts lemons at the back and cleans glasses. Yeah. And I was fortunate. I met this other guy called Gareth. He was a bartender. We did a function together in Kylam Estate. He was amazing. He was amazing. He was making amazing drinks. So on our way back, I'm just asking him, so how do you know? Do you memorize all those recipes and everything? Yeah. He says, there's two choices. You can either do that, you can either memorize all these things, or you can or learn exactly what goes into a drink, what makes a drink feel like this, and understand other people's palates, and what he called thinking with your tongue. So he gave me a small theory where he says, to understand drinks or food or anything, you should try to learn to describe everything you put in your mouth in 5 words. So the more you do that, I think it kind of connects to your brains. Your brain and your tongue kind of connects every time. So whenever you think of mixing up drinks, you understand this, you understand the description of this drink and this other particular one, and you know how to mix them together. It's quite a wide theory, but I adopted that theory and it worked for me, and I fell in love with cocktails. So that's how I started basically my journey into drinks.
Okay, so you've moved to become like a bartender, and then from there you were more interested in terms of starting your own brand. Did you study to do a beer, or you had someone teaching you on how to make a beer?
when I moved to Cape Town, I was hoping that I would enroll at the Cape Wine Academy. I wanted to learn more about wine. But when I got here, I got a job in a place that sells craft beer at the Waterfront Food Market. And that's where I basically came to experience craft beer for the first time. And it was such a huge world of its own. And I think at first I just was curious. I wanted to learn more so that I can be basically a better bartender, better salesperson. You want to understand your products and be able to talk about it with the people. And the more I learned, the more I fell in love with the culture, you know. And then I discovered home brewing, and I was like, you know what, maybe this is going to be my thing, you know. So I started putting efforts into home brewing. And that basically gave birth to the idea of starting my own brand.
Talking about the brand, even the name of the brand, Ukhamba. I'm fascinated by the name Ukhamba. What inspired the name, and also you also have controversial names in terms of you have Uchwala, you have Section 25. I sense there's a story behind that. But let's start with the name. What inspired that?
So when I was growing up, there was this old man from our village. He's like our neighbor. He's like my grandfather, basically. He was like my grandfather figure, basically. And because he used to call any alcoholic drink Ukhamba, you know. But mainly because of the association of Ukhamba, the pot, the clay pot, with traditional African beer. So when we were youngsters, we used to go clubbing with my friends, and then when we there, we just wanted to sound like different from other people, and we're like, when we ordering, we're like, hey, only is Ukhamba lapha and something, and then the bartenders will be kind of confused at first, like, what's Ukhamba? And then obviously everyone will get it, like, okay, that's what they mean. And then we look like these guys who are so traditional and very deep. You know, so when I came to think of starting a beer brand, you know, that was the first name that came to my mind.
Okay, and your first beer was Uchwala, this one, right? Or was
not necessarily. There was I had a black IPA called the Pursuit of Holiness. That time I fell in love with dark beers. And these hoppy beers like IPAs, slightly on the bitter side and aromatic. And then I discovered that I could make one beer that has both those characters, you know, like quite hoppy and at the same time dark, with those roasted malt and chocolate flavors. And made the black IPA, and we called it the Pursuit of Happiness. Because at that time, in my life, I was basically obsessed with beer. I was obsessed with hops, and more just like in the movie Pursuit of Happiness. I used to. I think just before that time, I used to have a small diary, and I used to copy the same writing. And every time I would like write, this part of my life is called this and that, and whatever that I'm going through at that time, because I was going through a lot of things just about that time. So just when I was about to brew that beer, I think at one time I wrote, you know what, this part of my life is called Pursuit of Happiness.
Since like you in like a competitive industry, what set Ukhamba Beerworx apart from other brands?
It's personal. You know, everything about Ukhamba is personal. Basically everything describes a part of me. Even the beers, I make beers for me, you know.
Before people.
I always say this selfishly, so that when I make beer with me in mind. I make what I want to drink. I don't make beer for you. Then what I love, that's what I then sell to other people. So I think people get to experience a part of me, and that's I think people love that about it. It's genuine. It's honest.
Okay, so in terms of distribution, because you have to make sure that people buy the brand, people are aware about the brand. So how do you distribute the beer, and do you have any partners that you are working with to expand the business?
Yeah, after running my own brewery for 2 years, we got into a partnership with Signal Hill Products that own Devil's Peak Brewery, and they're more like as a big brother. Basically, they put us under their wings. They've got more experience in the industry. They've got a bit more resources. So under their wing, we've managed to go much further, and also have like bigger volumes of beer.
Okay.
And it's quite a lot of it's learning, man. You always learn something as you grow into something, fail in something, you learn something, and then you keep on growing. It's a very tough business. I went into it without any business knowledge whatsoever. You know, no one in my family ever ran a business. I was never ever close to it. I never went to any business school or any college for that matter. You know, so it's quite a learning curve. So yeah.
Talking about learning, so where do you get this information in terms of how to run the business? As you said, you're the first in your family to run the business. Do you have a mentor? How do you do that? How do you manage that?
Yeah, you know, nowadays life has become much more simpler. You don't necessarily have to have a mentor physically that you see every day. There's YouTube nowadays. You can follow so many people that are influential, that have walked the path, and most of them, they offer all that knowledge for free on thing. So I'm a YouTube guy. You know, I learned from learning how to brew. It's YouTube, marketing, YouTube. Anything that I do nowadays, it's YouTube. YouTube. I'm a YouTube guy. I believe YouTube is my friend. YouTube is your friend at this moment. There's a lot of knowledge out there. You can basically be mentored by Bill Gates without even ever meeting him. You know?
So he's using technology in a productive way to empower yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot of information flying around on what you call this, on social media and on the web nowadays. So it's not like back in the day where you literally had to go and wait for someone in their gate when they're about to get into their car and ask them for a minute to talk to them and stuff like that. There's so much information out there. Yeah.
So what's the plan for Ukhamba in the next 5-10 years? Are you planning to expand to other countries? What's the vision behind that?
We're still trying to win our locals, so we're still basically growing the brands. I'm more obsessed about the brands and the branding, the marketing, and then the sales. You know, like, so we that's what we're doing right now. We're still growing the brand. We're still getting people to know the brand and getting the brand to be part of their daily lives, and basically then put it, make it very accessible to them.
Okay.
And once we win our local, we win the region, we win nationally, then we can go. Yeah, basically we built Ukhamba with the idea that we're building an African brand, not just a Cape Townian or a South African brand, for that matter, basically. Yeah.
So where can people follow Ukhamba, and is there any upcoming events that you guys are going to do? Are you going to attend any beer festivals? What's the plan?
We just did a Capital Craft Beer Festival. It was amazing. You know, we were lucky enough to be part of it, thanks to the guys at Capital Craft and the SHP guys. They helped us go there. Besides that, we also do small events in our locale with other people. We're going to be doing a lot of collabs with many local entrepreneurs, basically mostly Ekasi. And basically we want to grow with our own people, you know, that's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to be different, you know. and also play to our resources. You know, that's where we are. So why should we not grow there first, and as we keep on growing? So there's gonna be a lot of things coming, but whatever is there on the way, we always have it on our social media. We on Facebook, we on Instagram and Twitter. It's Ukhamba Beerworx.
Okay.
So people follow us on our thing, and yeah, we taking part in many things right now. So many of them, I'm gonna put them up in the next few weeks. Yeah.
Lastly, what can you say to a young Lethu Tshabangu who wants to start his own beer brand without like formal education, learning from YouTube, starting brewing from home, but they don't know what to do? What can you say to that person?
It's the same thing. There's so much information flying around. I don't think in 2019 anyone. I mean, formal education is still vital, but I don't think it's the only way. There's gonna be a lot, and I foresee a time in the future where people with general knowledge or knowledge that they acquire anyway, more like on Google or on YouTube or anywhere, people are going to be merited for that. So many people like that are getting jobs. You know, many companies are hunting for such people who are driven by passion. So if you're passionate about anything else, you will get the knowledge. You know, there is knowledge anywhere else. You don't necessarily need a certificate. I've been offered 1,000 jobs without a certificate, so you can still do that. There are particular subjects really that yes, you need to go to school for. Probably you will not learn medicine on YouTube, but maybe you may increase your knowledge on YouTube. But I always say to young people nowadays, YouTube is your friend.
You've heard it from Lethu Tshabangu. YouTube is your friend. Dream big, and cheers to Ukhamba Beerworx. Thank you so much for having us today, and we're looking forward to work with you and see your brand growing and going all around South Africa, as well as internationally. Ukhamba.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes.
There we have it. We've heard it from the man himself, Lethu Tshabangu, talking about his entrepreneurship journey. To be updated about the future events about Heavy Chef, please visit our website www.heavychef.com.